Dynasty.
周天子服
The longest dynasty in Chinese history existed in the year 1059 BC to the year 255 BC. This was a time period of 804 years. This clothing was for the kings of the Zhou dynasty. The long skirt, big sleeves, and top hat were symbols of nobility. At that time, the rulers of China were called kings and not emperors. Zhongwen Wang, a king of the Zhou dynasty, set up the filial piety system, a relationship of respect between parents and children. He emphasized this in the education of his people, and it has been carried on in the traditional family relationships of today.
下一位，汉朝王昭君服
The Han Dynasty. This dynasty existed from the year 202 BC to the year 220 AD and lasted 426 years. This costume was the bridal gown for a princess in the Han Dynasty. Reluctantly, the princess was going to marry the ruler of Han, the biggest tribe in northern China at that time. She never came back to her motherland. The musical instrument that she is holding is called a lute. The sound of the lute is plaintive, a perfect way for the princess to express her endless longing for home. During the Han Dynasty, the concept of country was formed. A political system and education system were perfected, including many customs. The Han culture greatly influenced Chinese society until the 16th century. Even today, the majority of Chinese call themselves Han.
下一位，唐朝杨贵妃服
The Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty existed from the year 618 to the year 906, lasting 289 years. This clothing was for a concubine in the Tang Dynasty. As you can see, the Tang custom was more open, and it reflected in the lady's clothing that was low cut and had a transparent design using gauzy material. To meet the standard as a beauty, a lady had to be able to wear clumpy shoes. The Tang Dynasty was the most powerful country in the world at that time. There were 37 vassal states, including Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. The culture was at its peak during this time of Chinese history. It deeply influenced all of the countries in Asia. Even today, we can still see some Tang-style buildings, arts, and dancing customs in Japan or Korea.
下一位，宋文官服
The Song Dynasty. This dynasty lasted from the year 960 to the year 1279. It lasted 319 years. These are the clothes for the high official in the Song Dynasty. Since the Song Dynasty, the Chinese society has tended to be more conservative than in any other dynasty, due to the imperial government vigorously promoting the concept of virtues, family values, and loyalty to the country.
下一位，宋氏礼服
This clothing was for the ladies in the high official family. Going along with the conservativeness of the Song Dynasty, the clothing is conservative with darker colors.
下一位，元朝皇帝服
The Yuan Dynasty. The Yuan Dynasty. This fabulous costume was for the Yuan Dynasty Emperor. The Yuan Dynasty existed from the year 1279 to the year 1368. It lasted only 88 years. The dragons and the golden yellow color were the symbol of the emperor. No other person could wear yellow or dragons.
元朝皇后服，
Meet the empress from the Yuan dynasty. The dragon is the symbol of the emperor, and the phoenix is the symbol of the empress. The empress had to be able to manage the enormous palace household, consisting of eunuchs, concubines, and children. She helped the emperor because the emperor must always look perfect and present a gracious presence.
明武将服，
The Ming Dynasty. It lasted from the year 1368 to the year 1644, a period of 276 years. This costume was for a Navy general hero, the greatest one, Qi Ji Huang. He had defended the southern seas of China from Japanese pirates for all of his life. This costume is armor and made up of 7 pieces. The material was iron, so it is not difficult to imagine that it was heavy. The dressing up of the general was the job of a military servant.
下一位清格格服，
The Qing Dynasty. The last dynasty of China. It lasted from the year 1644 to the year 1911, a period of 287 years. These clothes are for the princesses in the Qing Dynasty. They have started to show the women's curves, the big sleeves, and wide skirts have been done away with. The top hat, high heels, and narrow skirt could help enhance the graceful posture of the ladies. They are the predecessors of the Qi Pao dress.
谢幕，
The Zhou Dynasty, Han Dynasty, Tang Dynasty, the Song Dynasty, Yuan Dynasty, Ming Dynasty, and the Qing Dynasty. These costumes have covered 7 major dynasties from the year 1059 BC to the year 1911 to be over 3,000 years old. This presentation is short, however each one of these costumes contains hundreds of stories. And we would like to invite you to come and join us on November 12th at the Texas station for the biggest Asian cultural event of the year.
Let's give them a big hand.